Hey folks, I was able to pry myself away from Rayman Legends challenge app long enough to do this video. I won't let that thing beat me. Seriously, it's free, it's challenging. If you haven't got it yet, update your Wii U and play this game until your eyeballs fall out. But I wanted to do this video because, as we all know, this past week we got another Nintendo Direct that was pretty much E3 level. Further, explain why I don't need a big E3 conference. Now, of course, the major announcements at this Nintendo Direct was, of course, Earthbound coming to the Wii U Virtual Console, and you already know my reaction to that. Seriously, I actually squeaked when he said that. I'm not kidding. But of course, the biggest announcement was A Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past 2 coming to the 3DS this year. Now, most Zelda fans, including myself, was very excited about this announcement. I mean, come on, a sequel to one of the greatest games ever made for both the Super Nintendo and, well, period? Come on, how can you not like that? Well, there were a few people who didn't. More specifically, people who wanted a certain remake. Or to be put it more simply, I wanted Majora's Mask! Yeah, that's basically it. People are complaining that the expected Majora's Mask 3DS remake wasn't announced. Instead, all we got was a stupid sequel to The Link to the Past. You know what? This is not to all Nintendo fans, and this isn't to all Zelda fans. But when it comes to this company and this game's franchise fan base, there are some ungrateful, entitled fans out there. There are people there who are just plain selfish. Okay, you wanted a Majora's Mask remake. That was great. Yeah, whoop-de-doo. Now, it was made clear that if enough noise was made, they would consider making a Majora's Mask remake for the 3DS. However, it was also stated by Shigeru Miyamoto himself that he wanted to remake A Link to the Past. Now, this is probably my theory about this whole situation. This is what they actually were originally working on, making a Link to the Past remake for the 3DS. But Shigeru, in all his greatness and glory, had some new ideas that he really wanted to use. So instead, you know what? I think we should just make a new game. The simple fact is, you Zelda fans don't realize how lucky you have it. You are getting 2 Zelda games this year. You're getting A Link to the Past 2, and you're getting a remake of Wind Waker, which I personally believe is better than Majora's Mask. Yes! I like Majora, it's a good game. But here's something else. Nintendo already has enough crap thrown at them about them reusing franchises and shit. Alright? Why the hell would they want to make another remake? They've already, if they released a Majora's Mask remake, they would have released at least 3 remakes in the past 2 years. Now, I don't want that. I want new Zelda games. I said at least last year that, sure, make a Majora's Mask remake, but make a new Zelda game for the 3DS first. It reminds me of E3 2010, where Nintendo, laying in wait after 2 or 3 years of Sony and Microsoft just teasing them and continuously giving them crap, they burst out, give us everything from GoldenEye to Donkey Kong to fucking Kid Icarus. And what do the people complain about? No Star Fox and no F-Zero. They were given everything. Kirby, Epic Mickey, GoldenEye, Kid Icarus, Donkey Kong Country, new Mario games, Skyward Sword. They were given so much. And yet that still wasn't enough for them. Look. You want a Majora's Mask remake? I want new games that they can remake later. And you know what? A Link to the Past? Come on. Why are you against A Link to the Past? They're giving you 2 new games. So they're not giving you a remake of Majora's Mask. You know what? Here's something you can do. Look, I got it right here. You want to play Majora's Mask so badly? Get it on an N64 cartridge, or if you can't afford that, buy it on the freaking Virtual Console and play it again there. Alright? You don't need a remake of Majora's Mask. What I want is the franchise to evolve further. I don't want to see the same games being remade over and over again. Ocarina has been remade and re-released so many times. It seems like they're resting on their laurels, which I don't want Zelda to do. God. I'm not going nuts for a Twilight Princess remake. I'm not going crazy for, say, a Wii U re-release with Skyward Sword, although those two would be nice. I wasn't even expecting a Wind Waker remake. But when it was announced, I was like, holy fuck, this is amazing. So, look, I get it. You love Majora. You'd love to see it in bad graphics. You know what? Join the fucking club. There are plenty of gamers out there for many different games who would love to see their games remade in HD graphics. You know, I hear Square Enix has this little group of people that want a certain game being remade. Join them. Because look, maybe after Link to the Past 2, we may get our Majora's Mask remake. Hell, they might remake Twilight Princess for the 3DS, which honestly would be pretty damn good, considering how the 3DS and GameCube have similar specs. But the simple fact is, the sense of entitlement that certain, not all, to make that clear, I am not labeling all Zelda and Nintendo fans entitled. There is a small group of people out there who are ignoring the fact that we're getting two Zelda games in the same year! In the same 6 months even! And they're busy complaining that they're not getting the Zelda game that they wanted. Well, you know what? The same thing happened in 2000 when they saw that Spaceball tech demo, you know? And then a year later, we get Wind Waker, and everyone's like, what the fuck is this shit? Then we get Wind Waker, and it's one of the best Zelda games in 10 years. But no one bought it, because no one bought a fucking GameCube. So now we're getting a new chance to play Wind Waker with better graphics, and I can't wait to use the touchscreen as an inventory. It's going to make my eyeballs bleed, and it's going to make your eyeballs bleed. And after you finish playing Wind Waker again and loving it for another time, you're going to get your 3DS out, and you're going to play Link to the Past 2. You're going to love it. You're going to adore it. You're going to draw a countless fan out of Chalk Link. And then you're going to stop complaining for just a few damn hours. It's true Nintendo has some hardcore fans, but the simple fact is, Nintendo is just one company. They can't do everything. But at least they're doing something.